So I own a New Mexico hard cider, and we're located here in Santa Fe, New Mexico. We brew everything on the south end of town, and then we have our tap room basically downtown Santa Fe. One of my uncles owned a 400 tree orchard in Villanueva, so we spent 3 years restoring that, and we've been working on restoring Las Golondrinas' trees, and we're about to release the Las Golondrinas cider, and that'll benefit them as well. Right now I have an orchard in Galisteo. Las Golondrinas is 2 orchards, and then there's sparse trees throughout the property. I can tell the difference between Portland ciders, California ciders, Colorado ciders when you do use local trees. It is a difference. We are just beginning to graft more heritage cider varieties. We do work with a orchard in Chimayo, Mr. Trujillo, and his father planted a bunch of like pippins and cider varietals that are really good in cider and definitely tastes a lot different. So we do seasonal releases of those. Las Golondrinas, the Living History Museum in La Cienega, we partnered with them I think 3 or 4 years ago, and I began volunteering there to restore their apples. They just don't have the manpower anymore to maintain. I think they're at about, I want to say 300 trees. So that's kind of our focus right now in trying to get that orchard back, and we're able to educate. So we'll go for their harvest festivals and press apples and educate people on cider and how it was, because New Mexico basically had orchards back then just to make hard cider. I like to get out in the orchards and actually trim the trees, make sure they're doing good, grafting different varietals so you can have more variety per orchard. I think it makes you appreciate more your product also, and people actually appreciate that you're trying to do these defunct orchards, because family members, what happens is like the older grandfather dies who's been doing it his whole life for 30 years, and no one in the family really wants to do it, so I'll go in and just be like, hey, I'll maintain your orchards, and then after a few years of getting actual apples and stuff, then I'll start paying you for the apples. I mean, I see these orchards like in Nambay and all that are like super overgrown, and I mean, once you do clear them out, do trim them up, and the orchard looks like pristine again, like then I feel like the families are like, oh shit, that's cool, oh, it looks really nice, and then they start to help you maintain, and then all of a sudden all the cousins and everybody, and it actually engages people to develop orchards on their own, and then they get sides because then they remember their old, like, oh, we used to do this with grandpa back when we were little, come out and trim and then camp and hang out and drink and barbecue when we're done. So this is a off-dry tart cherry. This particular batch is from Southern Colorado. We have a small cherry orchard in Michigan that we source our tart cherry juice from, and then we back sweeten again with our local cider to make it an off-dry tart cherry with a little bit tartness, not too much where it's almost a sour. So I had a local artist, Alberto, work on our label designs a while back, and I mean, we just thought that it would be cool. Like, mariachis are like for parties, and he really liked this. I just told him to do designs what he thought was cool. So he did a mariachi stealing apples out of an orchard to go make booze, I guess. So if you come down to Santa Fe to our tap room, we have the most taps in the city at 33. And it is all local taps. So we have 13 of our ciders on tap normally. And then the rest are some of the cooler beers that we think from Albuquerque, Taos, all over the place, that you normally can only get at their tap rooms. They kind of let us, since we're not a brewery, they kind of let us get the special releases. Cheers. Thank you guys very much.